Alright, hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. In this video, I'm going to be showing you Pyramid Plunder, my version of Pyramid Plunder, which is a RuneScape minigame. So I'm going to play it first, and I'll kind of explain a little bit about it. So, when you get into the game, uh, you'll find these pyramids, and you'll come in, and there's three options. So you've got this guy. Which I really need to add this kind of guy to the Coliseum that I just made and the Fight Caves one. I think this really helps make the games a bit more interesting with these stat checkings, so you can like see how many pharaohs you've slain, you can see how many urns you've looted, and you can see how many mummies you killed. And so I haven't really explained what this game is about, but pretty much you have to climb to the top of the pyramid and loot the pharaoh's tomb. There's going to be these urns along the way, and there's these mummies that are kind of random encounters, and you only have 5 minutes to do it. And the clock doesn't stop when you loot urns, it doesn't stop when you are in combat, so you really have to kind of manage your time. This guy, he's called Junkyard Jameer, and he will pretty much, if you have any junk, because this mini game will give you a lot of junk, similar to the real Pyramid Plunder. It'll give you a lot of like pottery, ivory, stone, and gold loot that you can turn into Junkyard Jameer uh, for some money. So I'll go up here, and I have 5 minutes to get to the end. So you want to like practice looting some of these urns. And you'll see they give you random items, and pretty much there's a randomized generator of 50 things. So the first 10 slots are devoted to nothing, and then based on rarity, you'll get see, there's one where you don't get anything, but you'll get mostly ivory things, and then there will be some pottery, and then stone, and then gold, and then there's a 1% chance you'll run into a snake like this. So if you kill the snake, I had to change my kill move, so I'll explain that later. But I haven't given the snakes a drop yet, but I do want to like give the snake some sort of rare drop that you could only get in this mini game. So part of the mini game is doing what you're intended to do, and then some of it might be, you might need to get these rings for crafting equipment later on or something. Um, and then the snake, maybe it'll drop like a rare snake fang, which will maybe used in like a rare potion or for a quest or something. So yeah, these mummies is something I wanted to talk about. So in RPG Maker, it's kind of difficult to make kill counters for random encounters, but there is a way that I have that I'll walk you through at the end that sort of explains how to do kill counters. Um, but so far we're just trying to get to the end. I think there's like 8 or 9 floors, and you'll notice that the floors get smaller with every level. Um, so that's just something. Also, these staircases, it's a 1 in 4 chance. I'm getting lucky right now, but it's a 1 in 4 chance that you will be able to go up the staircase, and then a 3 out of 4 chance that it will be blocked and you'll have to come try to do a different one. So this one, it was my 4th chance, or my 4th try, and I'm just kind of managing my time, trying to collect as many of these things from urns as possible. And because I have a one-shot kill move, it's a lot easier to complete this. But this is the second to last floor, so I'll just get these last 2 urns, and got lucky there. This is the sarcophagus. So if I go up here, it will ask me if I want to leave, I want to stay, and I want to attack this mummy, this pharaoh. So I got my kill move to make it go by fast. I still have 2 minutes to spare with kill moves that just auto kill. So if you're doing this for real, you may want to escape from more mummies, um, just so you have more time to get up here and fight the actual boss. Um, so if I leave here, um, then I return to the front. I noticed there at the end, my character kind of just ran through the wall, so I'll need to update that. But if I were to go through that, I should have done a thing where it it auto kicks me, but pretty much if the time runs out, it auto kicks you. I was doing some things where, at the tutorial island, you'll get this like teleporter that will teleport you around the map. So I had to take into consideration that if I were to use the teleporter when inside the chamber, it I could either prevent it that item from being used, or I could just stop all timers whenever I teleport. So until that becomes an issue, I'll probably just stop all timers when I teleport. But it may come down to something where I would need to prevent that item from being used within the minigame. If you come over here now, we can see that how many pharaohs. I've killed one pharaoh because I completed one, um, I guess, run of the dungeon. I looted 22 urns on that run, and so this will stack. So every um, consecutive time you do this, you can see how many total urns you loot, how many mummies, and then I've murdered 3 mummies. And then with this guy over here, junkyard, you can sell not just this stuff, but you can sell other things that you want to this guy. So if I want to sell all of these, I can just, make money, and you can see my money kind of go up. So this one's 250, 75 for those 3. For 5 of these, it's 15. So you can kind of see it's just kind of like some money for your account if you wanted to turn this into a money maker. But yeah, I'll show you the code for the kill count. So like when you do kill counts, um, there's a couple ways to do it. So you could either like come into an event like this and create like um, we'll just make it a sword for now. So you got this sword, and you can kind of make it move around, and you can do battle processing right here, and say those goblins, and you can kind of do like a, if you win this fight, you can make a control the variable and add 1 to murdering mummies. So this is the variable that I'm using to track the number of mummies killed. So if I were to, and then you have to do like, maybe like a player touch, or and then above. So if you overlap, this is a very crude um, example. There's better ways to like make a creature like this, but it'll start moving around, and you could go out and kill it. I can demonstrate that real quick. So if you go to variables, and we go to variable 20, you can see that Mummy's Murder is currently at 0. If I run into this sword, um, it's set to killing these 2 goblins. And then if we go check out the variable, it will now be at Mummy's Murdered 1. So that's like a very simple way to do that, but because these mummies are kind of part of a different way of doing monsters, so if we go into this, you can see it's kind of in this section where there's troop encounters, random the entire map. So there's no real way to code that except for going into the troop setting. So this is what a normal basic one kind of looks like. There's nothing in here, these battle events, and it can get kind of confusing because what you might want to do is something like, if let's say if this creature enemy state is dead, right? Then you'd want to do a variable and add 1 of murdered mummies, because that makes logical sense. Maybe we'll do it like when the enemy pharaoh's health gets to 0, and we'll do it the moment that it happens. Like this kind of makes sense. So this is basically saying if the enemy's HP equals 0% at this moment, if or you could even like get rid of that. It will add one to the counter, but it doesn't really work like this. The game has this like really interesting logic. So instead of doing like this, I'll just revert this back to normal. So instead of doing that, you have to do something kind of a little bit weird where you have to put. So how the game kind of calculates this is that once the character, the enemy, dies, then it stops calculating this stuff. So that's why it wouldn't work. But if you were to give it this state, so like at the beginning of the battle, it will automatically give this mummy a status condition of whatever I have for. I don't have it named because I don't want it to appear during the battle. I don't want it to be like kill count, because if I do that, then at the beginning of the battle it will show kill count as a status condition. And there's a way to hide that, but I'm just gonna leave it blank. And so pretty much you do the kill count status condition or whatever you want to name it to change it to that, and then when the enemy reaches zero. Oh, and another thing you have to do for this status condition is you have to make it resist the dead state. So this will make sure that it doesn't die, which won't trigger the rest of the battle events from occurring. So we have it at this state that's unnamed that resists death. And so that happens at the beginning of battle. And then when the enemy reaches zero, because it has this state that doesn't allow it to die quite yet, then you can do the additional variable to add one of whatever variable you're using to track the kill count. Then you can remove that state. So I remove that blank state 4 and then add the state death, if that makes sense. So when you remove state 4, that will remove it from resisting death. And then I just added kill the mummy pretty much just for good measure. So that's how I was tracking these kill counts. Um, it's kind of a convoluted way to do it, probably, but it works, and I can use it for more random encounters like this. It will get kind of weird when I want like multiple enemies, because right now I'm saying entire troop, and it can get there's probably like ways to do it and scripts I can implement, but this is just kind of like a simplified way that achieves the mission right now. So there's that, and then Um, when you go into these, you just kind of name you've murdered, and then backslash v20 because that's variable 20. So that will look into the system of what your current variable count is for variable 20 and insert it there. And you can do that with character names. Like if you look here, you can do that with actors, which is backslash n, or party members, which is backslash p. So there's a lot of kind of macros you can do to sort of pull data that's being stored and print it, I guess, to the player. So that's pretty much what it is so far. I'll probably flesh out this bottom area a little bit more. It's kind of bare, but as I kind of figure out more things, like maybe I'll add like an in here that can heal you, even though you don't really need to be healed because the mini game kind of heals you automatically. But yeah, I think the longest part, I'll show you, I guess, the common events as well. I don't usually show the common events or go into this much depth on the coding aspect, but maybe I should start doing that. So this is common event number 33 is Pyramid Plunder Urn. And so every time you open up an urn, it does this code. So if you look into this, all that's in here really is common event, Pyramid Plunder Urn, and then the self switch. And so when you go into this urn, it pretty much does a random. I have variable 6 as my random variable, so that just calculates a random variable, and it's between 1 and 50. So there's the snake is number 1, and then 2 through 9 or 2 through 10 are you don't find anything, and then 11 through 50 are pretty much just items, and you can only find one golden necklace, but you can find like multiples of the other stuff. It's kind of in a very spaghetti code format. It could be nicer because not everything is right next to each other. Like you've got the ivory earrings down here, but then like you know some of these things aren't really together. So it's a little bit sloppy, but it works for now. And then the other one is the reset urns. So these urns are controlled by self switches, and self switches are typically you would have to create like a, control self switch within the event to turn it on and off. But I have one of these timers up here, or actually, I think I have it on the first floor when you enter into here. There's the reset urns. So every time you start a new mini game, it will reset all the urns. So that common event is controlled by this variable control common event 34, and it's a lot of code kind of thing pretty much. And this is pretty much just every individual urn on the in the mini game. So you can see the screen kind of says floor one, and this 300 means that it's map 300. So if I go into here, you can see that this is map ID is map ID 300, and you can see all through here. You've got urn 6. It's event 6 through event 50. So events 6 through 50 need to be, so for example, this one's on map 300, ID 6, and pretty much the self switch A, I want it to be turned off. So that's pretty much what each of these each of these means. So there's map ID 300, ID 6, map ID 300, ID 7. So creating all of these is a bit tedious, and you kind of need to, I guess, kind of write down everything that's relevant in order for it to track it all properly. But when I replay this mini game, you'll see that the lids come off when I'm playing, and then when I restart it, all the lids will come back on because that little algorithm or whatever will reset it all. So that's kind of what this is. It's been a lot of coding today. This is, like you can see, I'm still in this blue shirt. So it's my third video today, but feeling the itch to just kind of grind out videos and make um, progress in the game. So that's what we're doing. Guess we'll see in the next one. Not really sure what I'm going to be doing next time, but yeah, have a good one. I'll see you later.